Hey, fellow tennis nerds. I hope all is well. Here's another podcast. And a guy you are probably familiar with is one of the most popular podcast episodes is with Henrik. We usually talk a lot about rackets because Henrik is a proper racket and tennis nerd. He's been reviewing rackets for Tennisnerd, but also for the Swedish Tennis Magazine for a long time. He tests everything, as do I. So we have a lot to talk about. So if you're into rackets, strings, gear, shoes, whatever, listen to this one. How are you today, Henrik?
I'm good, thanks. The spring has finally arrived here in Sweden, so now it's time to rock and roll out on the clay.
Yeah. I'm sure you're excited. I mean, you showed me the hockey goalie mask, which is your other passion, just before we started. So the hockey season is gone now in Sweden.
Yeah, for me at least. I play like in a senior recreational team, but our season is about to end now. The playoffs is in the finals, and yeah, now it's more about summer sports here in Sweden. So the hockey season is soon coming to an end here. So it's all about tennis from now on.
That's great. That's what we need. And you have a really cool hoodie on, RS hoodie.
Yeah, I got some. I like the colors of the new RS collection. They sent me a bunch of new shirts, shorts, hoodies, etc. to try. So I think we will go through a bit what I will be trying in the next coming weeks. But yeah, I really like the RS clothing. That's pretty much the only thing I use both on and off court, apart from when I'm at work, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and with work you need to look the part. But we also tried a bunch of different rackets from different perspectives. Last time we talked, you tried the Pure Drive 98, and now I've tried it a bit more. I'm working on the review. We have also Artengo rackets to talk about. Nikki went to this event in Lille, sorry, and I couldn't go that because I was moving house in Malta. But it looks like they put a lot of effort into tennis now, Decathlon and their Artengo brand, which is the tennis racket sports brand. What is your feeling about these frames? I did try the control racket and I was really positively surprised. I mean, it wasn't like a home run, but for the price, it was very, very good and very predictable compared to many other frames. So
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
it's this one,
Yeah.
the Artengo Tour, the Artengo TR960 Control Tour. Um, Overall impression is very good. It's a very solid racket. I've tried the 1619 version. Um, I think that Artengo has been looking quite a lot at Wilson's direction. I would say this is like the closest thing would be like a Pro Staff 97. I would say something like that. It's a good feel. Maybe the sweet spot is pretty small. So when you're hitting outside of the sweet spot, the racket lacks some mass because the swing weight on all Artengo rackets is very, very light. And I think they are focusing on faster swings. So if I was to use this one, I would place some lead here or maybe here in this area to get a bit more twist stability. As it is now, it was very light. So yeah, it's a good platform racket, good to use for lower level players that needs to swing fast or like to swing fast. Good players must customize it a bit to get some stability, but it's a good racket. It's a good feel. I mean, considering the price, it's a home run for a lot of players, I would say. I mean, it's at least half price compared to most other competitors, and it's a good design as well. Yeah, a good racket that needs some customization to fit everyone. but the base model, really good. Really surprised with everything in it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was impressed. I mean, I felt the same way you did, that at a control racket at 97 or 98 square inches, you can't have it at that low swing weight because then the ball outside the sweet spot is just, dead. So you need to add some mass. Once I added mass at 12, you can add it at 3 and 9, 10 and 2, depending on what you like. But then it started playing much better. And I think it's a demanding racket. If you don't get any free power with it. It's a controlled tour. So that makes sense. It's the one that Monfils uses. with a lot of weight, obviously, and customization added to his. But they also have some other ones. They have the TR930 Spin, I think it's called, and then there's the TR990, which is the power racket that Kasatkina is endorsing. As far as yes, that's the TR990 Pro. And there's an extended version as well, but I don't think you've tried that one. But what did you feel about the TR990? That's more your kind of spec range, I would say, with some.
Yeah, this it looks like this. The TR990 Power Pro, or Pro with power. I mean, this one has also a very, very low swing weight. I think the swing weight was like 295 strung. Pretty open string pattern as well. It actually feels both this one, the TR990, and this one, the TR930 Pro, the spin version. Both rackets actually feel like they feel somewhat similar. I preferred this one, the blue racket, more. The first time I was using it in stock weight with the factory string, and it was so easy to just hit from the baseline. But as soon as I was starting to play points, it was way too light. I think swing weight was 297 or something, and you didn't get any plow through. You didn't get any real pace on the serve compared to what you need against bigger players. So I was adding some lead, 3 and 9 and 12, to beef up the swing weight to something around 315, 320. And then it was good. It has something of the dampened feel of the new Wilson rackets, like a bit of a Clash, a bit of a Ultra. This that unique, very well dampened feeling that the most Wilson racket has these days. The stiffness is very stiff. I think it's like 72, 73 or something, but you don't even notice that kind of stiffness. You have no arm issues whatsoever. You have good spin, you have good power, you have good good comfort in the racket. They are very, very easy to use. I mean, very, very easy. They feel comfortable, and for a price of around 120, 130 euros each, it's a steal of a deal. They are really good, like really successful for real. I would say or recommend that they would beef up the swing weight a bit, because sub 300 strung swing weight, that is just too low if they are aiming for some higher level players. I mean, it would at least be 310 or somewhere around there. I mean, it's not everyone that could customize, but they are very fast to swing. They look very clean. People are noticing them for their design. The grip shape feels just like it should be. Grip 4 and 3/8. It feels like a normal grip 3. The shape of the grip, I don't know if you see it here, but it's they almost feels like almost like the old head TK57 pallets. Not that extreme, but a bit more rectangular than the regular rackets.
TK82 maybe then.
Yeah, some in that range, I would say. So it's pretty easy to play semi-Western forehands, and I really like them. They are they were really, really good. The blue racket, it's also, as you can, I don't know if you see it here, but it's could it be like 0.2 inches longer or something like that? And then you understand that the stock swing weight is very, very low if it's an extended racket, so it really needs some more mass in the head. But apart from that, they were surprising me a lot. They were much, much, much better than I was expecting. And when I have seen the videos from the Artengo event as well, I can really see that they are for real. They are really meaning serious business now. They are developing their rackets with they are really thinking about what they are doing, what they are going to produce. So I think that the big brands, they really have to look out for Artengo, because they will gain market shares with the price and the current situation of the economy. People will look into their products, and yeah, the other brands have to watch out, because they are coming strong, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's now that you have this pretty large barrier to entry with a racket like a Pro Staff. If you look at retailing at around 320 euros, I think the 97 or something, and it's just a lot of money compared to how it used to be. And then people will either go for like the outgoing model, which is now cheaper because it's always like half price, or at least kind of a lot of rebate discount on the outgoing model, or they will look to other brands, and other brands can come in and Dunlop rackets maybe a little bit cheaper, Artengo even cheaper. They're quality brands, they make good rackets. Like you say, I also measure the swing weights to be a little low, so more mass please, Artengo, but otherwise they're moving in the right direction because they're new. Obviously with branding, Wilson will sell a lot because they have a strong brand, as will Head, as will Babola. But at some point, if the price is too high, people will question, if they're gonna buy 3 rackets, you buy 3 Artengo, you don't you hardly get 1 Wilson. So it's gonna be a thing in the end, whether the price is too much of a factor. So yeah, it's interesting to see them, and I think there will be also maybe other smaller challengers now that it's easier to kind of produce good quality stuff. Talking about swing weights, I wanted to get into that. Are you gonna try the Pure Aero Rafa Origin, the new beast of a racket? Is that on the radar for you?
Yeah, hopefully. I've been in contact with Babola in Sweden, Racquet Doctor, and I hope to get some samples of both the Origin and the Pure Aero Rafa. I think the Pure Aero Rafa will fit me and my game much better. I heard from Tennis Warehouse that the average strung swing weight of the Pure Aero Rafa, the 290 grams version, was somewhere around 323 or something, and that's right in my ballpark. The Rafa Origin, it's like 370 plus, and I'm too weak player to use that kind of swing weight, and I don't think that on the ATP tour there are maybe 15 players that can use that in the long run. So it's okay. It's a nice thing that they have the Rafa original specifications, but it must be the most demanding racket in the modern era, so to say. And I mean, I know that some rackets had some really high swing weight in the past, but in the modern era with such a powerful frame, it must be really hard to control the ball.
Yeah, I think so. And I do wonder about it. I think it's a gutsy move, and maybe it's because they think people will buy it and put it on the wall because it's like a Rafa original spec. But there's also a risk, I feel, for like rec players that they will buy it if they don't know a lot about rackets, they don't know anything about swing weight. They just want to buy what Rafa uses and they want to play with that. And then they buy that and they try to play tennis with a 370 swing weight. And it's also not like a 370 swing weight Safin mid-size prestige. It's actually will be easier to swing because it's a mid-size head size. So you will have a bit more maneuverability, will be easier to play with technically. Well, this is like a rocket launcher, so it's like a very stiff, very high swing weight, 100 screen, 16-19 pattern. So yeah, I'm seeing maybe some tennis elbows and possibly some weird results from this this experiment, whatever you want to call it, because people did rush out to buy the Pro Staff RF97 autograph. Many of them still play with them. I meet them around the clubs wherever I go, and it's not really the easiest racket to use, I would say, for average players.
Yeah, I would say okay, I have not tried them myself, but just looking on the specifications, if someone is choosing between the Rafa Origin and the Rafa, choose the Rafa, the lighter one, because you will regret it. There is 1 in 1,000 players that can use the Rafa Origin, so choose the lighter one. You will not regret that. I think that's just my personal, just judging from the specifications, because I love the design. I mean, as you can see here, I'm a bit of a fan of the pink and purple stuff. So the design is perfect. So I hope I really get one soon so I can swing it on clay and pretend I'm Rafa.
Yeah, that's what we have to do. Yeah, I'm getting one I think tomorrow for test, both of them actually. So from Tennis Warehouse Europe. So I'm keen to see how they play. Looking at the specs, I agree that the 291 will be for 99% the right choice. But if you really want to try this spec and you have money to spare or whatever, you know, or you want to demo it, I think it's fun to test the Rafa Origin, but I would definitely think that the other one is more human. And you can always customize, so you can add weight if you want a higher spec. You know, you can't detract weight, but you can always add weight. It's good to keep that in mind. So try to go for lower weights and be open to customization, and you'll be fine usually, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's not that many that can detract or remove weight. So go for the lighter one, or if you want to keep the other one for the wall, like a collector's item. So it's your choice, your money. But if you are going to play with it, I would say go for the lighter one. 100% sure.
I agree. And there's a lot of other stuff we talked about on the list before we got going. You also been testing the pro staffs, and we did also mention the shift, which a lot of people are kind of falling in love with. But you know, I in the end struggled a bit to control the ball with the shift, at least the 1620, especially that I felt like it was flying a bit. How are your recent Wilson racket tests? Because you're a Wilson Blade 100 player nowadays. Like that's the racket you play your current match play, customized, I assume, right?
Yes, it's this one, the Wilson Blade 100, not the 100 light, not the ultra light. It's the 100, 300 grams racket. I've added some lead. I don't know if it's visible there, but you see it. I'm using the Solinco Torbite 125 string at about 21.5 kilos, and a nice Luxilon damper matching my hoodie. And I have a pretty big grip size 4. And this racket is actually, for me, for my game, I would say that this is the best racket I have ever tried. This is, for my game, this is like a racket that if I should design a racket, this one would be it. I like the generation, the version 7, but I had the Blade 100L and then customized it. That had a stiffness of, I think, around 70. This one, I have not seen like the official stiffness rating of it. I have seen some from Decathlon at 70, but this is not 70. I mean, I would say this maybe is 61, 62 or something when I swing it. It could not be a stiffness rating of no. I cannot assume that. In that case, they have hide it very, very well. Yeah. So I've actually ordered a couple of more now to use when I'm playing some tournaments and league tennis in Germany. So this one is the one that I will play with. And I mean, this is a 100 1619, and when I compare it, for example, with the new shift 1620 99, I mean, it's virtually the same hitting area, but with the Blade 100 I can swing freely. I mean, I know where the ball is going every time. With the shift, I feel with the I have not tried the 1820, but with the 1620 I feel like the response is a bit erratic. I mean, some shots is landing right perfect, but I tend to hit long, and I'm not hitting too long with like 2 centimeters. I'm hitting too long, like 2 meters with that racket. And I've tried different string setups, played around with lead, but I just don't get the feel with it. So maybe I don't know. I will, because the feel of the racket is really great. It's a racket I want to be able to use, but I cannot play well with it. But I will not give up because it looks good and it feels good. But I just need to find that depth control with it. And then I've also tried the Pro Staff 97. I strung it up with Champion's Choice, and it's a demanding racket. It's a good racket, but I don't get anything free from it. The Blade 100 is better for me in each and every category. And I've also tried the Pro Staff X, the 100 square inch, and looking at the specifications, that's pretty similar with the Blade 100, but the Blade 100 is outplaying it in each and every category. I mean, it's just simply a better, more solid racket for me. So the Blade 100 is my choice for now. I mean, I will still try rackets, but it's the racket I will play competitive tennis with in the
Yeah, and
spring.
you needed to pick one as well for. I mean, you're like me. We never stick maybe too long with a racket. Although I'm back to my old Prestige now since a while, and it's playing better than I've done probably before, I would say. But it's just how you feel familiar, and you find the spec, and then you feel happy. But for you, you're gonna play the German league, and then you obviously want a racket that is a setup. You can't go there with 4 different rackets. It's gonna be a problem. I've done that, and I think you've probably done that in the past as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Guilty as charged. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the Pro Staff X, I really like that racket in many ways, and it's also one of those rackets that it looks pretty cool. It plays nicely. The feeling is good, but sometimes the ball just goes where you don't know it's gonna go. It's like you don't feel that confidence to swing out completely. And in pressure situations, that becomes like too much of an issue, because you want to rely. You want you to make the mistake, not the racket to actually contribute somehow, even if you somehow get more power at some case. In some cases, what was your reading of the Pro Staff X?
Erratic as well. It has the Pro Staff feel, I would say. It's a nice frame, just hitting, but then I don't get the response I was hoping for. I didn't feel that the spin generation was that good. Actually, I don't know why, because the string pattern should produce enough spin, or I'm using it in the wrong way, but I get more spin and better slice with the Blade 100. I don't know. I'm just not clicking with the Pro Staff X. Maybe I'm not hitting the ball clean enough, or I don't know. It was just not for me.
Yeah, that can also be the case, and I think we talked about that in some podcasts ago, and I think we mentioned it a few times. I'm like this trend of, rackets not being ultra harsh on the arm generally, which is good, but then the dampening is a bit much, and I think that's what I've seen in kind of several brands now. It's like, and Wilson, they've done it pretty significantly, I would say. Like the Ultra 100 was an improvement from the version 3. But then I don't 100% feel the ball. I had a little bit the same feeling now with the burn. I can see a target group for it, but for me, who I like to really feel connected to my shots, I can't play my best tennis with it. It's just simply the fact.
I understand, and I agree, especially in the Ultra, that is extremely well dampened, a bit almost too much, too muted. The blade is also very well dampened, but the total end product in the Blade 100 is it's just perfect. It's I could not have done it better myself. So in that specific racket, the dampening is just perfect, spot on. In the other models, maybe a tad too much. I'm trying the Yonex V Core 98 and 100, and they are also very well dampened. So it seems like the trend is going towards more and more dampened feel, like more muted feel, like you have filled them up with silicone or something. So they remove some part of the old school feel, and it's pretty refreshing actually when Artengo is making that control racket that is actually pretty raw. The feeling is pretty raw in it, so it's a bit refreshing that they are not everyone is going towards the dampened direction. Maybe they are thinking more about the players' elbows and joints, but they cannot remove too much. And now I think, as it is right now, with the tension going lower and lower as well, I would say now it's point of no return for the racket industry. Now, I don't think players appreciate more dampening than it is at the moment. They are not allowed from us to go any lower.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I completely agree. I think it's just something to be aware of. For most players, maybe this dampening is just good. But I think if you test a lot of rackets, you get very specific. Like you test everything. You found the blade, that you love. You find that like a feel, a connection to it that you really love, But we're all different. So some people might love the dampened muted feel, some people might not. So you always need to try. I think that is generally it, but it's definitely a trend, 100%. I see it with most brands, I would say. Also some interesting balls you've been testing, the Prince ball, the RS. They have some new balls, and another ball brand I've never heard about, which is very Swedish, called the Båstadbollen. And balls are very important, like not only on guys, but also on tennis courts, you know, so it's very important to understand, like if I play with a ball I don't like, I don't even enjoy playing tennis. So for me, it then becomes a problem. This is interesting. So I have never seen or heard of this brand.
This is Båstadbollen. Båstad is the ATP tournament, the ATP venue of the Swedish Open. Bollen means ball on Swedish, and it looks like the logo is very straightforward. It's somewhat similar of the Roland Garros ball. When I was opening this can up, I had no expectations at all. I don't know if it was like a PR ball or whatever it was. But me and a mate, we played on hard court, and we were blown away of the feel. I mean, it was by far the best feel ball. When you open it up and play, normally it takes a couple of minutes to have like the right feel. This one was spot on straight away. The feel was second to none. It was perfect. The durability, though, I mean, we were playing 1 hour, and you see it's showing some pretty severe signs of wear. I mean, most balls do that when you're just hitting strokes for 1 hour on hard court, but the bounce was still there, so it will be interesting. I will try them a bit more. I'm in contact with them now to get some more samples, because I want to try them on clay. And I mean, one pack of balls can have like a different quality than another shipment, so I will try them a bit more. I've not heard about them before, so it will be interesting to see. I don't know if they are small, if they are like focusing just in Båstad, or what their thoughts are. So we have to return to them as well. And then I've been trying the Prince Tour, I think the name is Prince NX Tour Pro. This ball is used for 1 hour as well, and you don't even see any wear on it. And I don't know if you hear the sound, but this ball is really hard. I don't know if you remember, Jonas, the old Triton Plus, Triton XL balls,
of course,
the pressureless. I would say they are, when you're striking the ball, they are sounding a bit like a pressureless ball, because they are very. I presume that this ball is focused a bit on durability, because this must be one of the most durable pressurized ball I have ever tried. They were not showing any wear at all over 1 hour. They are pretty hard. So I would presume that either they are considered for like coaches and clubs that could use them, but I think they are okay to use as well in tournaments. But the initial impression was that they are hard and easy to generate power, maybe not so good ball bite, but the durability was extremely impressive. I will try them. I have a couple of cans more to try, so I will try them out on clay as well and see how they perform in different weathers. I mean, here in Sweden in the spring we can have +1 degrees and snow, and when we are playing outside, and we can have +32 degrees and sun. So it will be a very big difference in the climate during the spring here. So it will be interesting to see how it performs. And then I've also been trying, together with the Artengo rackets, I've tried the Artengo TB920 ball, and this was the Moselle Open. I don't know if it's a special edition. I think it's just a regular ball, but it's just marked with the logo of the tournament. And this is after 2 hours of use, so pretty good durability, or very impressive durability actually, because we were using those at like in regular practice, no gameplay, just like hitting. The first, let's say 10-15 minutes, the ball was really hard, like like almost difficult to control, very fast, like extremely fast, lightning fast. But then the ball just opened up and it played beautiful, really impressive of both the durability and the playability after the first 10-15 minutes. I don't know the price of that ball or if they are available or where they are available in Europe. I think you can order them online on Decathlon. But it was a really good ball. I was surprised as well with the ball in the end. I mean, most players are just using the ball for 15 minutes to warm up anyway. It's not like they are opening it up and playing a match. So it was a good ball. I only got one can, unfortunately, so I cannot try them more. But yeah, it was an interesting ball. Then yesterday, when I got the stuff from RS, I got 2 new balls. I have not seen them on their homepage yet, though. But they said it was okay to mention them. The first one is it's called Pro Edition. It says that it has extra durability. So I think it's like the normal. I don't know if it's the black or white can, but it's like the normal can, but better felt or something, like a bit more durability on it. So I only got this 3-pack can, so I will try it, and I will of course let you know. Then I know there are a lot of coaches asking for like ultimate durability balls, and then they have this one, practice edition, also a 3-pack ball. I have not opened it up yet, but both are ITF approved, premium long-lasting tennis balls. So I presume that they are more focused on durability. So I don't think the feel is the same, but it cannot be like durability and feel is not going hand in hand. So I will try them as well. So we have a lot of balls to talk about in the next episode as well.
Yeah, that's always interesting, because I think people sometimes underestimate how important the ball is. Like if you play with a bad tennis ball, it's not even fun sometimes to play tennis. Like if you play with something that flies too much, or it's just too heavy, or too like really too hard on the arm, for example, like a pressureless ball, that's tough. So it's so important to buy the right ball for the right court and use that. I think and you see that's one of the most popular complaints among players, is like they don't like this ball. If there's go to an ATP tournament, they have a ball they don't like, everybody starts talking about it. Like, I don't like this ball, I get arm pain from this ball is flying too much, or it's too dead. That's sometimes the theme in ATP tournaments.
Yeah, I've heard in the German league or in the lower division leagues, I heard some Tennisverbände, I don't know the English word, part of the
association, you mean, for Verband?
Yeah, the local, like the landscape in that area association. Some use the Wilson Trinity in league play, and the complaint was huge from the players, because they just simply don't like a pressureless ball. Even if I personally actually like that one pretty much, but I heard there was some severe complaints, so I think they went back to like a regular pressurized ball. So players are pretty much when it comes to the ball, I mean, they can use different strings, rackets, but yes, the balls, they are very picky. I think in general, the ball is what the players are most picky about, what people tend to complain about the most.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's pretty common, and you're seeing that more and more now as well. And it also puts pressure on the ball provider, because if all the players come out to talk about it publicly, or a bunch of them, then it's not going to look great for sales, because who wants to buy a ball that the players don't like, even if it's just that the pro players don't like it, and so on. So normally, what balls do you like to use? Do you like the RS white or black can, and then Dunlop, Schlesinger? What do you have any favorites?
I think Wilson US Open is a nice ball. I mean, performance price ratio, that's a really good ball. The RS White Edition, I like the White Edition more than the black. I think the black I think it feels a bit heavier, so the White Edition is really good. What else do I have? I have been trying so many balls. The head, it's called Head Tour.
Tour XT, yeah, that's the XT
Yeah.
is the new one. Yeah.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, this one, the Head Tour.
Yeah, that's a really new
That's
tour.
a Yeah, that one is really good. The XT, or what it's called, I think that's more for hotter climates. But this one is a really good ball as well. Here in Sweden, Triton has a ball that's called Triton Series, a white can. They have remade it. I think they have changed the logo a bit. But they also have like a can, a blue can called Wilson Series Control, and that ball is much better. But I don't have any sales of it in Sweden, so I don't know why. But that ball is really, really good. One of my favorite balls. Um, I would not say there are any real bad balls these days. But if I had to choose with a gun to my head, I would take the white can of RS for now. Hard competition with the Head Tour. That's also a really successful ball in my opinion. Dunlop does also make good balls, not the ATP maybe because it's, at least when I tried it a couple of years ago, it was wearing out pretty fast. But the the Dunlop Fort is a ball that suits me and my game extremely well. Uh, I would not say it's difficult to buy, but it's not that common here in Sweden. Schlesinger Wimbledon is also a ball that I used a lot in the past. Not also easy to find in Sweden, but also, I mean, those are one of the best balls on the market. So it tends more to buy what the clubs are using, like you buying a bulk discount from the club. So, and our club is using the RS or the Triton, and that's what I'm using. So yeah, I can play with pretty much every ball except like a true like Triton XL or Plus because they are hard.
Yeah, they're too hard. That's for me as well. More for ball machines, I would say. Yeah, we can get to shoes, I guess, because we talked about that bit before. I've been testing the new Vapor 11, the Vapor Pro 2, and you've been testing ASIC shoes. I haven't been trying any ASIC shoes of late. I have the Lacoste AG23 LT, which is Medvedev's alleged shoe. Always pros usually have some custom shoe stuff that they use or use older models that are then designed to look like the new model. This is the same like rackets. But the Lacoste, I only play with one so far, but I did like it. I did feel good. I'm pretty picky on the dampening. Not sure about that one yet, but comfort was good. It looks like great. It looks really nice. But what about you? You've been playing with the ASICS shoes, right?
Yeah, I've been trying the mostly the Gel Rest 9 in hardcourt version. I got them to try in Marbella in end of December. And now I just got the clay version, like a full herringbone pattern, a bit open here,
Yeah.
no clay pattern, but so they have split the sole in three, as you can see. I think it is for flexibility or something. But if you are using like a clay pattern like this, you have to play on really like fine, like true clay courts. You cannot use it on the gravel courts that we have in Sweden because then you will break your ankle straight away because this is too coarse or it's digging in too much into our gravel. It's not clay, it's gravel. But on a clay court, and clay is made of like crushed bricks. And there this one will slide perfectly. So I will try to use them now because I cannot slide on the Swedish gravel anyway. So I will use them to be able to use them in the German league because most clubs have really beautiful clay courts. This shoe it's one of the best shoes on the market. Some are complaining that it's too narrow, but I have a pretty wide feet and yeah, it works for me. But some would say that this Dynawall is a bit too interfering. But for me, with a wide foot, I can play with them. So yeah, it's a good. I also have my old Adidas Sole Court Boost in clay sole, so I will never give them up. I think I will fix them with shoe glue when they are starting to wear out. So But I will try this one on the clay now for now. So that's me and Matteo Berrettini's choice for the clay season.
That's good. That's good. No, I mean, the ASICS shoes generally, I mean, Gel Earths is my favorite, so I think that makes sense. Not of all shoes, but of ASICS shoes. Vapor 9.5, I have the reissue. I'm going to try that as well, see if it's as good as I remember it. But with Nike shoes, sometimes durability is a bit lacking, so you feel like you break the shoe quite quickly, especially on some kind of harsher court, I would say. But hopefully they hold up and are as good as I remember they were, at least fit my foot pretty good, I would say. Yeah, so lots of things to talk about, lots of things to go through. How much do you get to play? Now you're moving out on the clay, so if things change a bit, you will play more probably on the clay, right?
Yeah. It's almost impossible to get like in a normal weekday. We have our courts are full from like 2 p.m. until 10 p.m. So I mean, Monday to Thursday or Friday, I cannot play. I play once, like Wednesdays with the team. And then you can play early morning or late night in the weekends. It's just sold out every time. We have 4 indoor courts and 27 active teams. So it's crazy. We are a very popular club. Out on the clay, we have 6 clay courts. So now hopefully it will be, I could play maybe 3 or 4 times a week now. So, and that's good. It's nice to be out moving again.
Yeah. And you see that generally, I think that's a common trend in Sweden, or at least what I saw in my hometown as well. We have a bunch of teams, 2 clubs in the same venue, and definitely not like 6 indoor courts, 5 clay courts to cover, or 3 clay courts to cover like a whole city of 160,000 people. It's not enough, you know. It's like we're lacking courts, I think, in Sweden overall. That's my feeling, at least.
Yeah, I mean the paddle era is shutting down pretty fast. I mean, we're talking about every podcast, but there are a lot of clubs and paddle centers that are closing down. And I mean, I'm not talking about paddle centers with 1-2 courts. Paddle centers with 20-25 courts are closing down, and then they are standing there empty. And the tennis clubs are just screaming. Almost, most like bigger clubs, they are lacking courts, especially indoors. I mean, we could easily have like 2-3 more indoor courts and fill them up as well. Because nowadays, I mean, let's say that you are playing with an adult group 1 time every week, and you want to play like just a casual 1-hour hit with your friend. There are not courts for that, and it's pretty difficult to find players that want to play 6 in the morning or like 10 in the evening. I mean, in bigger cities, they are maybe easier because they have no other options, and it's leaning towards that in our city as well. That you need to play like really strange hours, and it's not easy to find like the motivation or the hitting partners in those kind of hours, because then it's interfering with the family life, with work, with the social life, and yeah, it needs more courts in most bigger cities in Sweden, I would say, because tennis is, even if we don't have the same top level anymore like we had in the 80s and 90s, we still have a lot of like recreational players. I think that's almost bigger than before because they are playing tennis, and yeah, so we need more courts in Sweden, that's for sure.
Yeah, and tennis has been booming a bit. I mean, ever since the pandemic. Paddle, there was a huge boom. Some people say it's still ongoing, like the sport is still growing, but they just went crazy with the number of courts they were building because they were anticipating way above what was, I would say, possible, even, you know, if you look at the numbers, you know. So everybody wants to get in. As soon as there's a trend, everybody wants to get on the money train and, you know, capitalize on the trend. So I think that's what happened in a big extent in the paddle community, because paddle, I mean, if I look here in Spain, it's quite popular among all people, as is tennis. But in Sweden, they built, I guess, these like, you know, big kind of warehouse feeling places, you know, with 15 courts, 20 courts of paddle courts, when there were none before. So that was a bit too much. Maybe we'll see what happens with that sport. But yeah, if there's no room there, at least you can make them into tennis courts and use them for something. So that would have been good. Refurbish these places into tennis. or at least mix it up. So there's 3 paddle courts, 5 paddle courts, and then there's 3 tennis courts, something like that. Not just go all in on one sport. I think it would make sense,
Yeah, I think they will. In the end, it would be good to have like a mix of tennis, maybe badminton, a gym, paddle courts, tennis courts, maybe a cafeteria or a bar, or not. That's not allowed in Sweden. I forgot. Yeah, I mean, imagine if we have like Germany, where you have a bar at every club. The social, you can sit down, have a beer, and grab some food. Tuesday night here in Sweden, if you are suggesting that, you are banned for life almost. There are a lot of things we could do to make the club community more vibrant, so to say.
Yeah, I think that's the thing I noticed, like also here in Spain. It's always nice that you don't have to have a beer, but at least you have the option, right? So it's like you can always sit down, and the social aspect when every club has a restaurant, it makes everything different because you stay around longer. In Sweden, I always feel rushed. I like, okay, I've done playing. I'm gonna go home now. There's not like you can't really linger there. It's not really welcome to linger around, which is a shame because you don't create this culture around it then.
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. All right. So lots of new gear. Do you have anything else on the horizon that you're looking forward to in gear wise? Some rackets,
yeah, I have.
strings?
I got from RS. I have like a bag. They are into. I don't know if you see it, but they are into those cooler colors. You see a lot of lime,
Spring
blue,
stuff. Yeah.
spring stuff. They have like pink and white. And I also got some. They have started to make those functional socks. Pretty good price. I think a 3-pack was like $9.99 or something for functional socks, and that's a really good price. That's what normally most take for one pair, I think. Don't take it for granted because I have to double check, but I think it was something like that. So I will try. I will try the RS gear, and I like clothing. I think we need a podcast about clothing, or I mean, what's important with the material and the properties of good tennis clothing. And in new rackets, I hope to get. I need to get in contact again with Babola so I can get the Pure Aero, the Rafa, and the Rafa maybe Origin, mostly the Rafa, the lighter one. What else? I will try the. I actually bought those two, the E-Zone 98 and E-Zone 100 of the new version. And I also built up the butt cap because I cannot use the Yonex in regular butt caps. So it will be very interesting to try the E-Zone. I mean, I'm 1.5, almost 2 years late on this one, but I never got them from Yonex, and I really want to try them before I presume there is a new generation next year if they are going to the regular plan. So I really want to try that one as well, but I think that will be after the league games and the tournament. So I think it will be not so much trying new like rackets and strings. Now I have to settle, play on clay, and really go competitive mode for 2 months, and then I will start to try a bit more in the summer again.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's always good to have periods where you're not testing so much because otherwise your tennis falls apart. That's what I notice at least. And I have some strings to test besides the rackets. Quick note on the Pure Drive 98. It's pretty fun racket to use. I mean, on serves, it's amazing power. I mean, I'm working on the review, so you guys listening here will have seen or will soon see the review. And it's an interesting stick. It's quite stiff. I know I felt like it is a little bit stiff, but I strung it 24 kilos, which is maybe a bit high for this racket. But on the other hand, you get no control if you string it lower. So I was like, just that with the new the new Racer Soft from Technifiber, which seems to be a pretty good string.
Forgot. I will get the Racer Soft as well. I forgot about that one. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so it will be really, really interesting to try that one. Sorry to interrupt.
No. It's a good interruption. And that one seems good. I'm going to try it in more rackets as well, not only the Bubbler one, but also in my standard Prestige. And I'm also testing some other strings, testing the Luxlon Eco string, which is very different from other Luxlon strings with like 6-sided a very green string. I'm gonna test that. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't strung it up. And then there's some grapple snake strings, so it's quite a lot of strings. But a string test is, if you have 4 different rackets, it's not as much. Oh, there we go. Here we see some strings.
I think this one is the Echo.
Yeah.
And I have one. If this one is out, I don't know if this one is out yet. So if it's not, you have to.
I will edit it.
Cut. Yeah. This one.
Yeah, that's out. Yeah,
green.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
And
this you haven't tried yet. This is just for you to string up on the Bayardo behind you.
Yes. Bayardo is a really nice machine as well. In the Davis Cup, we are stringing on the head machine. So they are both great machines. The Bayardo is a really good machine with the tilt function. I would say the head machine is a bit faster. Like when you're doing a speed job, it seems like I just string a bit faster on that machine. So they are both great machines. The Bayardo, I mean, it's a luxury to have it at home as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And do you have any more? What's the situation with Davis Cup? Are you traveling anywhere or stringing for the Swedish team as you usually do?
Yeah, we are in the playoffs in September. We got drawn against Italy with Sinner, Berrettini, maybe Fognini, Bolelli.
Tough draw, huh?
And Canada with Felix and Shapovalov. And Chile with Garin, Jari, Tabio, Barrios. What is his name? Yeah, the Barrios Vela or something. It's an extremely tough draw, but we got to play in Bologna again, and the food in Bologna is it's good. Yeah, maybe we should find an excuse for you to visit Bologna this time. I think you could do a lot of good content there as well.
Yeah, that would be cool. Actually, it would be nice to have some more tournament stuff. I hope to do more traveling now that I'm more settled in Spain. So I think that would be great to be visiting a few more tournaments during summer and also after summer.
Welcome to Bologna. I would take care of you.
No, I love Italy. It's always nice, especially the food. Like you say, it's tough to resist all the good stuff they have, and the wine as well is extra nice.
Yeah, everything in Italy is nice. I mean, the people. If you just now we are going off topic, but look at the people in Italy. They are so classy. They are well dressed. They are making good, very good food, and they are taking care of themselves, like very groomed, and
they know how to live
nice
life.
People.
They respect their life, right?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Nice, yeah. So Bologna for Davis Cup, and it's a tough one. Huh? But do you follow the tour or anything? Do you watch any ATP stuff now at the moment?
Yeah, I'm following the Swedish guys, both on the Challenger and ATP level, and also some guys in the Swedish Davis Cup team that plays in the Futures. Nicolas Madaras, that you help.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a machine on the Futures Tour, and he's on a career high now of about 250. So I think he will soon be into Grand Slam qualifications. And I'm following guys like Filip Bergevi and Jonathan Merida on the Challenger Tour, Leo Boy as well. Carl Friberg has also made some nice progress, winning some first rounds in the Challengers. André Göransson in doubles is closing in on top 50 in the world.
Wow.
And then we have Mikael Ymer. He's injured now, but he's top 50 ATP singles. And then I'm watching Elias Ymer as well. He's struggling a bit now with his ranking, but he has a very high level. So it's nice to follow those guys. But I also, I have Tennis TV, and so I'm trying to watch as much as possible just to keep up to date, so to say.
Yeah, I try as well. I mean, I haven't been able to watch that much lately, but I was fun that Rublev won the Monte Carlo because I thought he deserved it. He's been such a good player for a long time. Seems like a nice guy, and it's nice for him to actually win the tournament. And nice to have some new winners in general. I think tennis needs a bit of like spicing up, so it's a pretty good time. And now we have the clay with Alcaraz and Sinner playing amazingly well, and obviously always Novak and maybe Rafa. Who knows if he returns in time? But he seems to be quite injured. I don't know.
Do you think Rafa will try to make it for the French Open and then wave his goodbye?
Maybe. I mean, it's not impossible if the injury is worse than maybe we think. Like, I mean, I think he wants to play until he sees Novak give up, kind of. They want to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna stay there if he wins too many slams. It looks very tough to. I mean, they're on the same now, but it looks tough for Rafa to compete with Novak. I think Novak, going to Wimbledon, he's clear favorite, and also next year Australian Open, hard courts, he's gonna pick up more slams. It's very hard to not see him do that. So maybe Rafa understands that and then kind of gives up on the race, or he's just so injured that he can't really give more than he, maybe one more slam, like a finale, hurrah in French Open. I don't know. I mean, I've seen him on the practice courts in Mallorca. Looks good, but then he withdraws from the Barcelona. He withdrew from Monte Carlo. So who knows? He usually comes back and plays much better than everybody thinks. So it's hard with Rafa. Hard to predict. What do you predict for him?
I think that, let's say he's playing French Open and losing first round against, no disrespect, but let's say Carballes Baena is beating him. No disrespect, he's ATP winner, good guy. But let's say I don't think that Rafa would like to end in that way. Then maybe he will, maybe go out in US Open or something like that. I think he will. It depends on how it goes in the French Open. Let's say if he wins, I think, depending on the result in French Open, I think he actually will retire. But I don't know. I mean, I don't have any insight. But considering his injury history the last couple of years, I think it's soon time for him to say, thanks for me, and this is who I want to be remembered for. I don't think he wants to go out and lose 12 straight first rounds and then wave his goodbye. So yeah, I would actually say a good result in the French Open, and I think he will say his goodbye to tennis. Now he's a father, and I mean, he's 36 or something like that. So I think that it would be like a good ending for him if he's doing a good result in the French Open.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, usually it's always a question if they want to do like some kind of farewell tour, like be like, okay, I am now coming to Barcelona, but then it obviously depends on how good your body is. Like, I mean, for Federer, it was kind of, he stayed away from the sport for a long time. Then he played a little bit. Then it was clear that he was so injured that it was going to be tough for him to compete. And then when he announced it before the Laver Cup, I think it was pretty clear. Like, and I also think, it's enough with one big tournament and say bye, instead of having like, oh, this is my last season, I'm going to be playing every event, this season, because it's going to be tough for these guys. They are getting older, so their body might not hold up then for the whole season, all the events, and then that becomes a problem as well. So maybe you're right. Maybe it's good for him. Let's say if he wins, I think if he wins, it will be tough for him to say. I think he would be like, yeah, I can still do this.
One thing that is for sure is that Rafa will be extremely missed. He's like a bull, a raging bull, a great fighter. As soon as, I mean, Roger, Rafa, and Novak, those guys, they are one of a kind. I don't think we will see that kind of rivalry in the future in pretty much any sport. So they are three unique players that we are very happy to have be able to see live.
Yeah, 100% agree. That's interesting. That's why it's such a big thing if one of them decides to quit. And for Rafa, it was maybe a big thing with the motivation when Roger left, because it was such a big part of his career. And then now he's maybe, although it sounds strange, he's maybe a little bit lonely. It's like he doesn't have Roger around, so it's not that kind of rivalry that they grew up with. But who knows? We'll see. We'll follow it. Cool. Well, thanks a lot, Henrik. I think that's a good note to end on.
Pleasure to be a guest here. I'm honored.
Yeah, there's no honor, but that's cool. All right, so we talk very soon then. Thanks a lot. And if you want to, let's see, do you where should people reach you if you want to follow you?
On Instagram, it's my name, Henrik.Wallensten.
Yeah.
That's the best. Wallensten. I think you can write it in the
I'll put it in the description and in the notes, so people can follow you. And then there you post a lot of stuff about gear and stuff as well, so it's kind of relevant.
And some pizzas as well.
Some pizzas, yes. And you have a really fancy pizza oven, so I always get very hungry when you post a pizza. It's like a good pizza is hard to beat.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Henrik.
Thank you.